your socks! Hey!
The Lost Art with Andrew Cox podcast, now streaming on all major podcast platforms. A Till Valhalla Project ambassador. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Podcast, that podcast giving a voice to our veterans. I'm your host, Andrew Cox, and today we're having a fireside chat with special guest, Jonathan Phillips. But before we get into the episode, are you enjoying the podcast? And go to our website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check it out. See what we're all about. And if you can help us in any way, please do so. And big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing amazing things. Go check out their website. It's tillvalhallaproject.com. And for all of you jarheads out there, all the Marines, you got to know that the Marine Corps League is out there. It's an organization that you can join, get that camaraderie back, all that type of stuff. That's mcleague.org. mcleague.org. But go check them out. Great organization. And if we can help them and get their numbers up, it'd be much appreciated. Same team, new mission. The Marine Corps League. A legacy of valor. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Is familiar to us all. It is that feeling you get when you see a Marine Corps sticker on a car or home proudly displaying the Marine Corps flag. We know we can knock on the door and that Marine will be there for us. Despite our many years of service to different causes, we all have that common bond. We have all earned the privilege to wear the eagle, globe, and anchor. The Marine Corps League is the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps veteran service organization, with detachments in 1,150 communities across the U.S. Please take a few minutes to check it out. Visit today at mcleague.org or email tribe@mcleague.org. All right, with that, I got some of the crew here, and we're going to go ahead and go round robin. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Been a busy week so far. Hopefully it gets done, but I know it's going to be a long weekend of work too. But it is what it is, and it adds to the bank account, so can't complain.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's always good when it adds to the bank account. Yeah. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing outstanding, Andrew. I'm on grandpa duties right now. That's why I'm driving, using my cell phone, taking my granddaughter to her synchronized swimming practice.
Very nice. That's all.
Yeah. So
always fun.
It's always fun. It's a great week here in San Diego. We were blessed to be saved from any of the wildfires that ravaged Los Angeles area because the incompetence and corruption of Gavin Newsom and all of the California Assembly and State Senate, whatever the hell they call themselves, super majority of Democrats who vote anything in they want. Environmentalists have been ruling the day and for decades, which has led to the overgrowing of all the areas, which once again led to these fires.
Yeah, very true.
Make sure you're checking your mirrors for drones following you there, Mark, because you never know.
Yeah, no kidding.
Maybe something chasing you.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good.
Yeah. Gavin Newsom's chasing down on those drones.
You never
might be
know.
an electric car looking out for you
know.
too. So, yeah. All right, Vic, how you doing?
Good. That's good. Following our flooding incident in the kitchen, finally had the faucet changed. Now we're just waiting for USA to approve the rest of our claims so we can get cabinets and flooring fixed and blah, blah, blah,
nice.
blah. Yep, all that stuff. So, yeah, just life.
Sounds fun. Fun. Yeah. Life is always a good time when they're throwing stuff like that at you, right?
Yeah, at least I'm on the right side of the grass, though. So, lots of blessings.
Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. All right. Well, hey, we have Jonathan Phillips, Marine, He's coming on here, tell his story. Very unique story. I'm excited to hear about it. He's an author, wrote a book. He's out there doing amazing things. But Jonathan, how you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So you let's kind of go back to the beginning for you, if you don't mind. Kind of talk to us, like where you grew up, and then kind of what drew you into the Marine Corps.
Sure. I grew up in Arlington, Massachusetts. Pretty historic area. I come from a long line of Army guys, Army officers, so that's
Okay.
where I was going to go. But that didn't work out, and they kind of took the Ranger contract away from me at last second at MEPS.
Mm.
And so I ended up going down the hall about a day later to the Marines, or actually down the street, actually, to the Marines. And, they gave me what I was looking for, and no issues whatsoever.
Very nice.
And that's where it started.
All right. Very cool. Now, can you talk to us a little bit now? What year was it that you joined, and then you went to Paris Island then, correct?
I did. It was July 2005.
Okay, awesome. Can you tell us a little bit about your boot camp experience? The good, the bad, whatever you want to talk about?
Boot camp was it was 3 really hot months in South Carolina. As far as boot camp, what would my biggest takeaway be? Man, boot camp was pretty smooth, I think. I mean, there's you're getting ready to go to infantry school. I mean, to me, it was just kind of doing what you had to do, and
Yeah.
graduating with your class. To me, it wasn't the hardest thing ever. It wasn't the easiest thing ever.
Yeah. Very cool. And then obviously you went O3 route. So you talked to me about going to the schoolhouse there, learning all the infantry tactics and stuff of that nature.
Infantry school was ordeal. They're
Yeah.
tough. A lot of trained guys getting ready to go to the battlefield. I mean, it's a lot of hiking, a lot of field training.
Hmm.
Defense week. I mean, just really cold out there. I mean, those instructors were hard chargers. All
Yeah.
Iraq vets. Yeah, I mean they were tough.
Very nice.
I mean they definitely instilled the mentality that we needed. A few of them got in trouble for like going too far, which I thought was ridiculous because, I mean, those guys gave me the mindset that I needed on the battlefield to keep going.
Right. Yeah.
Be fierce.
Yeah. Absolutely. And then now after there, where did you end up going?
I went to 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines on Camp Lejeune.
Okay, very nice. Now, what was your experience like checking in there, new Marine, checking in infantry? Were you nervous about it at all or anything like that?
You show up to the Marine infantry like fleet like date at that night, like it's terrifying. It's terrifying. I don't care how tough
Yeah.
you think you are or whatever. It's terrifying. You have all these guys who have been to Iraq, Afghanistan, alcohol all over the place. I mean, it's
Very,
one of the most
very
intense
intimidating.
experiences ever. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think that mentality though of having to, walk into the lion's den and have to prove yourself really does
Mhm.
something when you go to the battlefield. And I think the Marines have a good way of training guys that way.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right. Well, tell us about your kind of day-to-day life there at 2-8 and what you kind of what the regular was for you.
Man, 2-8. I gotta say, like I'm a junior Marine, so I don't have any preconceived expectations. I'm just going. I had a phenomenal squad leader, some phenomenal team leaders, but as far as like
Very nice.
the company command leadership and battalion leadership, it was just it was non-existent. I mean, you had this company commander who was just he wasn't all there in the head, and there wasn't a lot of great training. I'd say the best training that we did was the month before Iraq was tax in the Mojave Desert.
Hmm.
That was good.
Yeah.
And so we get back from that, and we got about 2 weeks left before we're deploying. And the company
Mhm.
commander just randomly does another what he called a lottery, changed up all the squads at last second, took guys out from squads and put them with new guys. So, like I'm like, just when you're feeling confident, you have your squad and you know who's who and everyone's operating styles. Man,
Yeah.
that was rough.
Yeah, any cohesiveness you had went out the door at that point.
Gone. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my squad.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, my squad leader walked in the door and he was like, "Guys, you got to prepare your wills." I mean, this guy is insane. I don't know what to tell you. And
Wow.
I mean, just some new random squad. Sink or swim, adapt and overcome. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Holy cow, man. That's wild. 2 weeks
Yeah.
before deploying, they're gonna throw that on you. Man. So
After,
obviously that has a
yeah.
huge effect on you.
Yeah, I mean they didn't even do it like before going to combined arms training. They waited until afterwards. You know, like you do all month cohesive training and then you come back and they do that. You know, right before you're leaving.
Man, mentally speaking, now you're getting ready to deploy with guys that you didn't train with, or at least on a personal as it could be, I guess. What's going through your mind?
Well, honestly, you just look to the NCOs and you look to the squad lead, you look to the guys that have been in Iraq and Afghanistan, and they're the guys that have been here for like 4 years. So you're looking up to them. You know, there's no chain of commands with them. So all I did was just keep looking harder and harder at them because I'm like, look, we all knew this company commander wasn't there in the head. And so we barely ever saw him. And when we did, we wish we weren't seeing him because it was just ridiculous.
Right.
That last week when he switched that command up, in my mind, I thought like it couldn't get much worse than this. But then we got to Iraq and it just got worse and worse.
Really?
And more just insane.
Wow. Now, where were you at in Iraq?
We were in the Al Anbar province in the Sunni Triangle.
Okay.
A little town called Saklawiya, near.
Yeah. All right. So talk us through some of the deployment stuff. Like what was going on that the company commander's doing weird things. How was that all going for you guys?
Yeah. So for the first 6 weeks, so before we even left, I mean, for months, the company commander, like, instead of trying to like prep us for like a battle or like to be not knowing what we were going to, get into, he kept like go on this campaign where he was telling us it was going to be the easiest deployment ever. And we're all thinking to ourselves, like, this doesn't seem kosher. Like, this doesn't seem really kosher, like as far as how you try and train Marines to like, be prepared for anything, contingencies.
Yeah.
And in his mind, it was going to be an easy cakewalk. To me, it was just off. I mean, you never underestimate. It just didn't seem like a good mentality to be going into a fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Nothing good can come from that. So the first 6 weeks were really, really strange. I mean, there was nothing really going on in the AO in Fallujah. It was a real kind of quagmire, and so they didn't really tell us what our jobs was as far as what to expect, and we were basically just running patrols for 6 weeks. Maybe 2 7-hour patrols a day.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about 120-degree heat. It was just, I mean, absolutely group as far as the heat. And then
those foot patrols, or were those mobile patrols?
One would be on foot patrols and one element would be on mounted patrols for QRF.
Got it.
So I got a couple of questions.
Yeah.
So like when all the change up happened before you just weeks before you deployed, did anybody like above the platoon sergeant try to justify it? Did like the company guns or anybody like that say, hey, did anybody try to justify it?
No, the company first sergeant was in line with the company commander. He was just trying to look forward to his next duty station, his next promotion, towards sergeant major, trying to get up there. And there was no pushback, and they made it very clear to us, anyone who stepped out of line and didn't honor the lottery would be dealt with swiftly.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah. It was
okay.
It was rough.
Okay, second question. Had your company commander deployed before?
So he was a Mustang. So he was prior enlisted. And so apparently he went to Iraq at one point, and he kept telling these stories about how it was the easiest deployment ever. And, this was going to be the exact same deployment as that one. And so in his head, he went on an easy deployment, and he just thought this was going to be the same as that,
Yeah.
So I guess that gave him a real weird, I don't know what to make of that.
That's just weird. I don't know.
It's
Sorry, you got anything else, Vic?
No, that was my two questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I yield the rest of my time.
So I'll just echo what Vic said. Where the hell was the first sergeant, sergeant major? And where's the battalion commander in all this too?
battalion commander and battalion sergeant major. Those guys we never saw. At least the company commander you see every now and then. You know, when he's given all these arrogant little, you know, hey, Iraq's going to be nothing. You know, like just man up. It's going to be nothing.
That's ridiculous.
The biggest thing he would actually rail on was like he would threaten us all the time on like if we ever violated the rules of engagement, he was going to like have our heads. Like, so we hadn't even deployed yet. He's already like ruining our mindsets, our mentalities. And then he's going on this whole fear mongering campaign. Like, God forbid you you make me look back and violate one of those rules of engagements. You're going down hard. And we're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, you know, this is the preparation for our tour. Like, this is off. So pretty
wow.
You're looking.
And what months and years did you deploy?
August 2006 to February 2007. So the Civil War.
Because I had left in April of 2006. I left.
Okay.
But I was back again the next summer in 07.
Got it. So yeah, the Civil War pumped off about a few months into deployment, or about 6 weeks actually into deployment, and it was just ridiculous.
So go ahead and start like going into some of the happenings that was going on for you guys throughout the deployment.
So it started getting really bad after Ramadan 2006. That's when the whole AO just exploded into the Civil War. I mean, like any game book went out the window. Just they unleashed everything they had on us. They were getting so good at making IEDs through the insurgents and bomb makers. They would bury these 155 rounds in the ground, and then they would surround the 155s with propane tanks all around it. That way, when the Humvee rolled over it, it would engulf the entire inside with fire and flames, and just engulf everyone. That was a really hard ambush. I mean, we lost a lot of guys. My buddy John, Lance Corporal Hill, he burned alive over the course of a 40-minute ambush. I mean, he was just engulfed, just like they meant to. Another thing was Intel had gotten a plot about 2 months before we had gotten there. They had captured 3 Army guys at a checkpoint, and they had taken them back to a warehouse and tortured them in the most unspeakable ways, the way that they told us, very graphically. And so from that point on, we basically were told to like always go nowhere without grenades, at least one grenade on us, and to just self-detonate if we ever thought we were being overrun, whether it was in the QRF, trucks or whatnot. Because now they were trying to capture a Marine alive to really get a PR victory. So that really took the whole like mentality to a new level. I mean, we were all terrified of getting captured alive. That wasn't going to happen. We weren't going to leave anyone behind. And so we had to get more and more ferocious. Another thing was our company commander chose my platoon to have to fight for and basically babysit the local Iraqi police force, the corrupt local Iraqi police force, who refused to do any fighting whatsoever. They were always gone when the ambushes came, and then they'd come back right afterwards. They refused to do anything except collect the American taxpayer funded paychecks. Or whatever. They literally chose when they even came to work. Most of the times they wouldn't even come to work. And then when they did, but our company commander wanted nothing to do with it, left it all to us. And that last week of deployment, there was a night. I mean, they were so untrustworthy. Our command was the Pentagon was never going to give these guys night vision goggles. No way they were going to give that technology out. And so the last week of deployment, the IPs randomly leave the IP station for like a 2-minute patrol with their flashing lights on, and immediately we get ambushed. The moment they left, we're ambushed. Happened numerous times before, and we get ambushed. I get to the rooftop. We're laying down fire. We're dealing with the threats, and then there was a lull in the firefight. and the Iraqi police element see that lull, and they race back trying to like re-enter the Iraqi police station, like while this ambush is basically going on. And so they parked one of the pickup trucks with the flashing lights right near the ECP, the entry control point, which was my zone of coverage. And all the Iraqi police forces just got out of their vehicles, ran all the way that way to my left. There should have been no one near that vehicle. I see a guy coming towards that vehicle, and my night vision is completely drowned out from all these flashing lights from the top of the pickup truck. So, I do what my company gunny a week earlier said, like, we have no more margin of error. We're going home in 2 weeks. Like, if you have a shot, take it. Like, there's no more chances. Don't listen to the company commander anymore. It was basically an act of mutiny, to be honest. The company gunny was the only one who stood up and said, enough is enough. This ends here. We're going to make it home alive together at this point. And so I took out a guy who was, for all intents and purposes, an insurgent. Should never have been there near the ECP, let alone those flashing lights were just drowning out everyone's night vision. I took the shot, stood by it. About 15 minutes later, the company commander just races over, like, hearing the news that like an Iraqi policeman had gotten shot or whatever. He starts berating everyone, just putting the fear of God into us, calls NCIS from base camp immediately. They take me back to base camp, really just laying into me. Not that I told them was good enough. I mean, they'd already concocted the narrative that they were going with, that it was I shouldn't have took the shot. And so I ended up basically being sent to Marine prison for 20 months. 10 of those months were in solitary confinement. What makes it so unique was that the future Marine Commandant, General David Berger, knew that I was not guilty at all and that I made the right call. So he offered me a full honorable discharge and medical retirement as long as I kept my mouth shut because of the Pentagon firestorm that had been let loose. And so he wanted 2 years in prison, 10 months in solitary confinement. Meanwhile, I got an honorable discharge, full medical retirement, and they just wanted to save face. Numerous officer whistleblowers came forward saying this is ridiculous. This guy did his job like to the T, followed orders. This is ridiculous. One went to the Associated Press. One was on the front page of the Marine Times. And the Pentagon refused to back down.
No kidding. Now did they do a court martial there at Lejeune, and
they
then
did.
put you in the brig there?
They did.
Okay. Yeah. Dang. And you spent how long did you say again?
20 months and 10 months in solitary confinement.
10 months of solitary confinement.
Yeah.
So obviously not a good time, right? How was your mentality? How was your everything that was going on for you? I mean, how did you handle it?
I feel like it's the most aggressive form of like SEER school that you can go to. I mean, every day is a mental game. I mean, they would try and break your will down. You'd have guards saying the most humiliating things like, "Oh, they don't send innocent men to the brig, so don't even give me that." And they do strip searches daily to humiliate you. You don't get to go outside for weeks on end, sometimes months on end.
And these are fellow Marines.
They are, yeah, young fellow Marines in the brig company.
No kidding.
So a different mentality, they're used to being, having that power authority over a bunch of,
Yeah, it's like you're a Gitmo or something, like you're a fucking terrorist it's
right. Yeah.
What it felt like.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut all this off, but I just listen to that and what I read, it upset me, and then listening to you now, it's just like simplify.
I appreciate it. Simplify. You know what?
Like, fuck you. Yeah.
I always try and be the optimist. I feel like I use every situation. It's kind of you glorify it in hindsight, but it was definitely inglorious. at the time, but I would just try and gratitude. I would pray every night, even if I couldn't like even see in solitary. They wouldn't even let you have books in solitary confinement, which was the real disgusting part. Like they, because they kind of caught on that I was the kind of guy that if I could read a book, I could just live in my own reality and like I would respond to them. So once they caught on to that, they took all the books away. And I don't know, it made me hungry. It made me thirsty to like, I just told myself when I get out of here, I'm not gonna allow the DOD to portray me as some convenient criminal. I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna put myself through school. I'm gonna stay away from drugs and alcohol. I'm gonna do whatever I got to do to make these guys, look like the pussies they were for even trying to make me look that way. So I could have went down an opposite road, but I was just hell bent not to.
Yeah. Now, and then once you got out, what was the path? I mean, you said General Berger offered you the honorable discharge, medical benefits if you got out and didn't say anything, right? So you get out. Now, what was kind of where did you go from there?
So first off, after the court martial, they put me on the front page of the Marine Corps Times in a 4-piece absolute just hit piece. I mean, they just defamed me. They left out all the material facts. I mean, they ran with the whole narrative to make me look like the criminal to go down. So that really pissed me off to no end. And so kind of lit a fire under my ass. When I finally got retired, I basically had to, even getting out of the brig, I was in such rough shape that they had to send me to like several inpatient programs just to be able to process like reality before they could even medically retire me, because they can't really retire you if you're not like stable.
Right. Yeah.
So even after retirement, I had to go through a few more programs. And about 7 months later, I just decided to put myself in business school. Probably one of the ballsiest things I ever did. Going from being an 0311 to academia, it's a rough, weird, like, don't expect any leniency,
Yeah.
No one cared.
Completely different world. Yeah.
Completely different world. And so I just made that my mission. I was like, my mission was always like, I'm going to show them the kind of guy I am and make them regret making me look the way they did. So that was always my overarching motivation. And so, nothing gets in the way of the mission at that point.
Yeah. So where did you go to school? Where were you going?
Suffolk University
Did you hear me?
School of Business.
Okay. Nice. And now as you were going through school, it was a 4-year program you were doing?
5-year. Yep.
5-year program. Okay. And this whole time that you're going to school, were you doing anything else as far as all the stuff that had happened and you trying to clear your name and everything?
So honestly, at that point, my whole strategy was I'm just going to dive into academics and internships, and I'm just going to try and like redefine myself here. Like I'm just going to do whatever I got to do to graduate and not focus on that stuff. I didn't know where to start anyway. Business school is enough as is.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until the last maybe 4 years that I really became determined to like set the record straight. And so, there were a lot of other Marines that were treated horribly too during that campaign. And so, my whole thing is to like, set the record straight for a lot of guys. That shouldn't be holding their heads down. I mean, there were a lot of badass guys who just some of the finest patriots this country has who were just fierce on that battlefield.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Now basically, I finally wrote the memoir. That was a tough process. I mean, I had to relive everything, and I wanted it to be really authentic. I put a lot of the internal documents in there, which I don't think the Pentagon's happy. Put all the internal documents, just how deep it went, and how innocent they knew I was. And
wow,
the Military Times just officially committed to a full Q&A interview expose. So I think it's happening in the next few weeks. So they're
Oh wow.
Outstanding.
they said apparently that type of interview is only like reserved for like high profile like Secretary of Defense if he wants to give give an interview or whatever. So I get to tell my whole side, the whole side of my story, no edits or whatever. So I got plenty to say.
Give them both
Nice.
barrels. Give them both
Yeah.
barrels. Tell the full.
You need to do
Everything.
that, and hopefully out of that you get some kind of movie deal or something out of this bullshit, because it's an absolute just listening to you, the anger I have, and I didn't experience anything that you went through, but my own disillusionment with the Marine Corps, and how you're the man. Oh, yeah, fuck you. Get out. We don't want you anymore. You're shit. We're turning their back on you. It's like, we'll fucking walk your ass off the base. Here, give us all your shit. Give us your uniforms, and adios, motherfucker. That's what I got.
It's like they'll use you for everything you're worth, and then you don't even really expect too much in return, because you don't go in with that mentality. You're doing it for you, and but like you kind of expect a little bit more of like, hey, we're gonna make sure you have the best health care. We're gonna make sure you transition, and you have that same next mission in your life.
Yeah, but when you give like that, and I'm sorry, Andrew. It seems this kind of
You're good.
where the podcast is going. When you go balls deep and you drink the Kool-Aid and you accept everything it is to be a damn United States Marine, that's all you are. That's all you know.
That's it.
And then the day that you're told that you're an absolute fucking piece of shit, you're the biggest piece of shit that ever walked the face of the planet, and I didn't experience anything you experienced, Jonathan. I can't say that. But Andrew knows my background because we served together and we stayed in contact through the years since Iraq. But to literally have an organization that you spent 24 hours a day, 365 days a year giving yourself to, and they just say, I mean, it was both barrels, literally, turn around and look at us. That's what I got. We don't care what you did. We don't care what your story is. You were substandards. You were less than. You should have never been allowed to be promoted. You're a piece of shit.
Wow.
This is a story that, Mark and Vick don't necessarily know, or maybe they do, and I don't know they know. But, I can't even imagine. Just listening to you, my anger. Everything Marine Corps I owned, it went away.
Same.
That day. I wanted nothing to do with it. My wife's like, well, that's part of you. I was like, bullshit, it's a fucking part of me. It's not a part of me.
Yeah.
They don't want me. I don't want that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until early last year, talking with Andrew, that I actually put my damn NCO sword back up.
Good for you.
It's like, I earned that motherfucker.
That's yours.
You can't take it away from me. The fucking Marine Corps didn't buy it. I bought it, but I earned it. And that's how I look at it. But literally, I had every uniform I had taken away by a freaking Lance Corporal.
Ignominious. Isn't that amazing though? How they take everything from you, and then whatever happens at the end, they act like the biggest piece of shit to to justify what they're doing.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't mean to take away from your story, Jonathan. I just listening to you, it just brought a lot of shit back. I'm sorry, Andrew.
I feel like these are our stories. Like, I mean, there's tons of stories like this,
And the sad thing is you talk to people and nobody wants to fucking listen to you. A lot of people are like, oh yeah, man, that was wrong. But I was like, hey man, can you help us? Well, people
Mark was saying just a minute ago how, where is the Sergeant Major? Where is, the other leadership? Why are they not stepping in and saying, hey, something's not right? That to me is just, I can't comprehend it.
The NCOs called him Sergeant Major Pork Chops. He was back at base camp at the Chow Halls. He was living it up.
Who was the Sergeant Major?
I hate to hear it,
Jonathan.
I hate to hear that about my fellow Star wears.
Yeah.
Who
So
was the sergeant major,
Marge's a
Jonathan?
retired sergeant major.
Okay, nice.
Who was the sergeant major, Jonathan?
Sergeant Major.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I'm sorry.
No. I know it was Lieutenant Colonel Kenneth DeTrue as the battalion commander. I'm trying to think of. I have his picture in my mind. Sergeant Major.
Yeah, that's how influential he was in your
I think it
unit.
was Sergeant Major Carter.
Carter.
I think it was Sergeant Major Carter.
Sergeant Major Carter. Okay.
Like little short African American dude.
No,
Oh, okay.
fat white dude.
I was thinking the same thing you were, Vic, and I was like, no, it can't be him. But I don't know who the other
No,
one is.
yeah. I can sympathize with you. Like I said, I never had to go through it, but I watched Marines from 5 Battalion 3-1. At the same time, those Marines from 3-5 were going through some of the same stuff. I've had other friends get investigated and raked over the coals by CID and NCIS. And so I have no love or respect for them at all.
I truly think that NCIS is destroying the Marine Corps. They're being allowed to destroy the Marine Corps. Some of the best Marines I've seen, they're just being allowed to have carte blanche authority, and that's going to be the downfall of the Marine Corps if there ever is.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I mean,
What
I could see that.
What I think has to happen is, the Marine Corps needs to get away from being the bastard child of the Navy, and they need to be on their own branch. They need to be their own standalone, have no direct affiliation with the Navy. I mean, I don't see how else they can take back their lineage.
Yeah. Well, it's unfortunate that stuff like this happens and it's allowed to happen. I mean, obviously, well, thank God for you that it was able to overturn and you were able to kind of clear your name here, right? So that doesn't happen for everybody, and it's unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. There's a lot of unsung guys out there.
Yeah. Holy cow! Now you're doing a lot of
just
stuff.
How you said they tried to buy you off with everything.
With the bill, yeah, yep.
Yeah. Now you're Jonathan. Now you're helping other individuals and stuff that have gone through things like this, right?
I am. So me and my team, I got one officer that I serve with, Major Baxter, and my other buddy, Alex Bolick, that we serve with, and we're launching a brand apparel line where all a portion of all proceeds goes to a few nonprofits for veterans. Our main one that we're starting is I want to get it right. carepossible.org, and what they do is they help fund private talk therapy for veterans, since the VA doesn't really even talk therapy, and it's helped me out tremendously. So we're going to be donating a bunch of proceeds to that, and we really want to get that word out that talk therapy needs to be a basic right. The VA is not really a fan of it, so that's
now, tell me what that is specifically.
As far as
what do you? Yeah.
Talk therapy is where you just sit down with a therapist and you talk about things. You learn what things are still relevant in your mind or your subconscious mind, and you bring it to the conscious front, and then you start basically like confronting the enemy. You got to confront your problem. Once you identify them, you got to just confront them. You can't run from them, or they're in the back of your brain, and they're going to be controlling your life. Once you get to the point where you can start identifying and confronting them, you'll be a new man. You'll be a new man. Those demons will run. You turn and face those demons, they'll run. So yeah, I really want to get a lot of combat veterans and veterans to be able to do talk therapy. It should be a basic right by this point. We're also going to be lobbying Washington to expand President Trump's original mission act, which allows people to go out into the community and receive paid private sector treatment, especially guys who have not had success with the VA. It's time to let those guys go and get top tier treatment. And so this is going to be a big one. I'll probably talk about it in the Military Times expose.
Very nice.
And yeah, I'm just excited to have President Donald Trump back in action. He's already undoing stuff.
That is true. That is true. Well, let's see. We're a couple of days away, right? Yeah,
We're
about 4 days away.
4 days away. Yeah.
Yeah, 4 days. Right around the corner.
Yep.
Jonathan, do you have any legal groups or law groups or attorneys or attorneys like that deal with stuff like you went through to be able to help other veterans, or is there?
So I don't, and I want to get involved in one. There's this Navy SEAL Eddie Gallagher who was also tried really unjustly, and President Trump pardoned him in I think 2020, and I think he's starting one. So I wouldn't mind linking up with that. That's a really important thing to help those guys, anyone that's being wrongfully persecuted or in the appeals process.
Yeah. Well, and that's a big thing too, is people don't realize that you get booted, you got nothing.
Nothing.
And yeah, there are attorneys out there, but you got to look at fees, what the cost, and people are like, well, what you gain to benefit is like, I don't have it to give to begin with.
I know.
And that's just it. I mean, if I could, I would, but.
And meanwhile, you're just trying to stay afloat and live your life. And
exactly. You're just trying to survive and be the best person you can be at that point.
And the DOD knows that. The DOD knows how they have it, I just know I'm not gonna let this go. I'm gonna bat those doors down. They don't know who they mess with.
Absolutely.
It pissed me off. Because you know what?
Oh man.
There's no such thing as a former Marine, and we don't leave Marines behind.
That's right.
And the Pentagon forgot that, and I'm going to remind them. We're going to remind them.
Yeah. Very nice.
None of what you're saying, Jonathan, is funny, but you make my heart smile, man.
I
love it, brother. Thank you.
Well, you too, bro. And that beard, I love it.
Well, I had to join in with Andrew because he retired in February of last year, and he had to be a hippie, so I had to try to do something. I'm bald on top.
I got to throw my hair
trying to
back.
get to go. So
we got the bearded. What is it? The bearded brother? No, I can't even remember what I titled it. Do y'all remember?
You named it. I did.
Bearded veteran. Oh, bearded veteran brotherhood. That's what it was.
I love it.
Yeah.
Mark's the only one who won't grow a beard. So
yeah,
the guy that doesn't have a beard is the guy who reminded us.
We're gonna get him a Duck Dynasty fake beard so he can put it on when he's on the show and fit in with everybody else.
I love you guys. You guys are great. You guys remind me of why it's so great to be a Marine.
That's right. Yeah. And that's what I was talking about earlier, right? The Marine Corps League. I got to throw that thing out there again. But getting involved in different organizations is definitely going to help out. We do miss that camaraderie, that brotherhood, and stuff. Like this podcast for me is kind of, I guess that's where I get it, right, by doing this. But if you're out there on your own, don't do that, man. Go find an organization, whether the Marine Corps League, VFW, American Legion. There's tons and tons of different organizations out there.
It's true.
Yeah. Or start your own.
Yeah. Semper Fi Foundation is another great one that I've seen some good. There's some good ones. Absolutely.
Yeah. And the biggest thing with that, though, is for a lot of people, it's actually, after what they've been through, feeling like they actually deserve to belong to those organizations. And that's a big thing, Andrew, you've tried to do is make other people, doesn't veteran in general, but we're all Marines, but it's like, hey, you do belong. This is where you belong. This is what you need to do. Go out and talk. you know, whether it be a Korea vet, Vietnam, but, you know, Desert Storm, you know,
Yeah, it's a
you
good
do
point.
belong, and we all share a common bond, whether we want to, regardless of what you did. You
Absolutely.
know, it's just, you know, and I think everybody on I'm looking at right now has the same fucking mentality. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, fuck you. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah.
So let's do what we got to do.
yeah,
Adapt.
absolutely. Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got this here, you know, the podcast, you know, we can start our own group here. So if you guys want to join the group, and how does that work? I don't know. Anyways, I'm just talking out of my butt now, so you know.
And what's changed?
Good point. Good point. Yeah. Yeah. So Jonathan, is there anything else that you want to kind of cover or talk about?
I think that's a lot of it. It's gonna be a big few weeks. I'm gonna be dropping a bunch of bombshells. It's about time that things get out, and you know, also you know, a bunch of the guy. Another thing that I don't like is I feel like a bunch of my fellow comrades who fought the Iraq War. I feel like there's this shame factor. Like we should be keeping our heads down, and I don't see it that way. Like I don't see it that way at all. So I'm ready to remind you know fellow Marines and whatnot that like you know we kicked their ass as far as whatever as far as the war fighters. Like there's no
Yeah.
shame whatsoever. Nothing.
Yeah. War fighters did their job.
More than
It's when politics and all the other shenanigans like
Lawyers,
that get involved. Lawyers, yeah,
lawyers.
yep,
yeah, that's right. When all that gets involved, that's when it all goes haywire.
sure is.
And not backing, like what was I watching, uh the new Secretary of Defense when they were
Hegseth.
doing his hearing. What is
Pete
it?
Hegseth.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah, and he was saying that he wants to get back, and he said something about the lawyers and one of the congresswomen confronting him about it. And derogatory term toward a lawyer, he goes, "I think we all know what it is." And she's like, "No, go ahead and explain it." And he kind of went off. It was pretty cool. You know how some of the lawyers are out for themselves, are not out to help and you know make things better or anything like that. They're just wanting to make a name for themselves.
He said it.
And I was like, he's not wrong. Some of them do that.
Inspiring.
Yep. Talking about
Hold on.
lawyers almost got me in
My
trouble.
speaker went. You said talking to a lawyer almost got you in trouble?
No, talking about them, remember?
Oh yeah.
I explained that story.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, you know, a top level guy who talks all kinds of trash, but then wants you know, wants to punish someone for you know, his right to say something that's his own opinion.
Right.
Mhm.
I can't imagine.
Yeah. Oh man. Now this shirt company that you're doing,
Yeah, sure.
you have a website for that yet?
We will have it's almost finalized. It'll be finalized in the next week and a half, 2 weeks.
Okay, awesome. Well, when it gets finalized, be sure to let us know. That way we can throw it on the website and you know stuff like that as well. So
Make sure I get your guys' size so I can send you some gear.
all right, sounds good. We can do that. Easy
Sweet.
money. Cool. Well, hey, we usually go round robin at the end here of the podcast, and we have words of wisdom. So we're gonna do that again. And Jonathan, I'll let you pick. If you want to go last, you can go last. But typically Mark goes last because he comes up with some crazy zingers at the end. But if you think you can beat Mark out in a zinger, then you can go last. But it's totally up to you.
For me, gratitude, like the whole cliche, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Every morning you wake up, you are freaking stronger than you have ever been in your whole life. So the harder they throw at you, the stronger and more formidable you are. And you just got to keep that mentality.
I like it. Yeah, that was good. Thanks, Jonathan. All right, let's go. Vic, what do you got?
Let's see. The day is not measured by the harvest you reap, but by the seed you plant.
I like it.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right, Mike. You got it. You got to unmute. You got to hit. Yeah, we don't hear you.
I'm sorry. You figured by now I'd know what the hell I was doing. But this one I've heard a couple different ways, but it's how I'm seeing it right now. It's from Napoleon Bonaparte. The truest wisdom is the truth.
Man,
The truest wisdom is the truth.
geez, that was good. That was really good. Wow.
Takes a minute just to sink in.
I know, right? Yeah. It was good. It was good. Wow. All right, Mark, you got something good for us?
Okay. This is serious as a dose of the clap, pal. Never, ever piss off someone who has access to your toothbrush.
Oh my God. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
That could be literal and absolutely.
Yeah. Oh my God, that was good. That was
For
good.
some reason, I have a feeling Mark has that's firsthand experience. I don't know.
It could be.
That's why I wash it every time, even before I put it in my mouth.
That's a bad taste.
So he's got a
Just to be
glass.
safe.
He's got a glass of rubbing alcohol. He drops it into every night or morning.
That's good. Well, Jonathan, I want to thank you. Look, my cat's trying to make his debut. You see it? Yeah, there it
I
is.
love it.
So thanks for coming on, man. Thanks for doing this. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your story. Good luck with the interview coming up in the next week or so.
Definitely.
That'll be cool. I'm definitely going to keep my eye out for that. So for anybody that's out there, make sure you're keeping an eye out. Marine Corps Times. It should be a good one. So yeah, thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me guys on. Semper Fi.
Hey, thank you, Jonathan.
Bye, Jonathan.
Yeah, definitely.
Love you guys.
Hey, don't take off. I want to talk to you in a second. But there we are. To all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA has some great resources. You can always dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life lost is one too many. I care about you. Jonathan cares about you. The rest of the crew cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies that you served with and ask them how they're doing. And if they need a helping hand, please give them that helping hand. One last time, guys, thanks to all you guys. Much appreciated. To all the listeners, stay motivated. Change your socks.
Ton Tavern, birthplace of the Corps. We as Marines hold this history close to our hearts. Wouldn't it be spectacular if the establishment was born again? The Ton Legacy Foundation, a nonprofit 501c3, is taking the task and is looking to the Marines to once again save the day. Help the Lost Art podcast in raising funds to help get the Ton built once again, only 100 yards from the original establishment in Philadelphia. We are looking for Marines to donate $25, representing the upcoming 250th birthday of the Corps. Spread the message and help establish the Ton, a place for Marine brethren to gather and remember our historic beginning. Go to the Lost Art GoFundMe page and donate today. The Ton Legacy Foundation, reestablishing our birthplace.